Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you 4 ways to dye threads. For card making, that is. A little bit of disclaimer, these are neither water fast and they will be shedding color, so you don't want to use it on your fabrics, just for your card making needs. So to have something to dye, I have chosen to go with some DMC Merseyside cotton with 6 threads in it. You want to have some kind of cotton. DMC comes in either a big cone or in skeins. The cones are a little bit hard to find and there's a lot on it. You can come a long way with just one skein of this. I picked out, I think, about 4 feet for each of these. I'm doing 4 different, as I'm doing 4 different ways to color, I'm doing 4 different of these little circular things. You can do them much bigger than I do, and then you can get a longer variegation or more different colors in your variegation. I'm choosing to go with these little ones because they're kind of quick to dye, and also I don't need to use that much thread, and this much thread will make about 1 full design. If there's bigger, or the ones that I have made with it, I could actually do about 2 of them. So that is that. To begin with, I'm gonna do the distress stain. So I have these distress stain bottles. I have aged mahogany and spun sugar. They come in multitude of different colors. I have a lot of these and I rarely use them, so I thought it would be fun to use them for this project. They have these little dabbers on them, so all you have to do is kind of push down on that dabber and the stain will come out, and then I just push it onto the thread. I push a little bit hard because I do want the stain to kind of really seep in through the fabric. I went over the aged mahogany with my spun sugar, and that kind of picked up some of the aged mahogany to my dabber. You can just dab that off on a separate paper later on. It will not ruin your stains. However, it actually made my thread a lot darker than I was kind of expecting or thinking I wanted. And then I just go in and kind of massage a little bit on the threads to get that ink in it. And I do a little bit of a preheating with my heated tool from Ranger, just to kind of dry it a little bit, and then I put it to side and I let it to dry so it's completely dry, so that I get as a little kind of shedding of colors from my thread when I actually cross stitch with it. Next one is dye ink sprays. I also have a whole bunch of these and I'm using 2 different ones. I'm using some Dylusion spray and then I'm using some Color Box, and I don't think that Color Box have this specific color left, this pink one that I'm using, which is kind of a spritz one, but you can use any one you like. And if you have those that have like mica in them, like glitter, you can actually get some really cool glittered cotton thread that you can use for your card making things. I have used all of these threads to do cross stitch pieces, which the kind of tutorial on how I put those together will come up in a later video. I'm adding some water. These sprays have a lot of pigment, but as you spray them, you don't get so intense color just in that area. So I chose to add some water to make it kind of spread into that little piece of thread. And then I'm just dabbing off a lot of those water and colors with a piece of paper to make it dry a lot faster. And this is a thing I did. I actually used this background later on with my cards. I just kind of pick up the rests of those sprays with a piece of watercolor cardstock because I really didn't just want to wipe them off my my sheet there. So that is also a way you can use the rests of the colors when you do this kind of technique. So my third coloring I'm using Copic markers because I have a lot of Copic markers. I was going for Valentine cards. I'm going to tell you a little bit secret. I actually recorded this video in mid-January. So yeah, it took me a while to edit it, but I'm doing that now and I hope you actually enjoy this. But I went for a Valentine look for this. So here I'm using a couple of really pink pinks and purple, like pink purples to color. And I'm coloring the ink on top of the threads. A thing is, you won't get a perfect the whole thread won't be perfectly colored when you're coloring just with your markers. So this time when I'm going to get the color to spread, because this is alcohol markers, I'm actually using some alcohol. If you are using the blending solution, you can actually go in again with your markers afterwards to kind of add some color in some places. But I am using isopropanol to spread it, and I do recommend, if you are using isopropanol to spread this ink, do not go over with your Copic markers on top of that, because you will ruin your nibs. You can even ruin your marker, because if that isopropanol gets into your marker, it can ruin it completely, because it's another kind of alcohol. It will kind of clog your pen. So after you feel that now you're done and you just want to spread that ink a little bit, you can go over with some alcohol over it and the pigment will move around. Copic isn't the ideal way of doing this, because that thread turned a little bit harder than the other one, and that also loses pigments when you are stitching, so it drops pigments when you are stitching. So for the last one is the Sig Clean Color Real Brush Pens. This is a big thing. I'm also going in with a Tombow marker. In this case, I'm actually starting off by adding water to the thread, because these blends very nicely with water. You do want to kind of brush your nib onto something, because the water will make your nib all white. You can see that on this marker. And then you can just brush it on, preferable I think, paper, and the color will go down into the brush things a little bit more. The Tombow marker was actually a little bit harder to add color, because the water went up to the nib much quicker, and I had to scribble a lot to get that color to run a little bit better. So some of these techniques are a little bit harder to get a good result. However, they do give you pretty good results, and also they're a lot of fun. You don't have to buy a whole bunch new materials. You can buy one skein of white cotton, and then you can use the materials that you have in your craft room and just dye them up. I have used the same kind of tone-on-tone colors here, because I wanted to get kind of a cool variegated effect. But you can use any colors. Just make sure that you don't use colors that will kind of make a muddy effect. Try them out. If you know that they work really great for your smooching, then you can use them absolutely for this. And if you don't have the stains, you can always use your ink pads and kind of mush your ink pads onto the craft mat, and then push the thread into that. But yeah, so there you have it, 4 different ways of coloring cotton threads for card making. I hope you enjoy this video. I had a lot of fun doing this video and recording it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, just comment down below. Down below you find all the details and materials used in today's video. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!